Hello and welcome back to Fallout 76. Once again, I'm at the Rusty Pick, ready to light some legendary scrip on fire. The plan is to spend 2,500, so I will get 25 ranged weapons. Now, my hope on this is always to get at least one good item. I mean, I expect mostly I'll get trash. Hopefully just one good item, one thing I can play with, one thing I didn't really know that I wanted. But let's start with the very first pick. It is a Stalker's Gauss pistol with bash damage and a chance to generate a stealth field. This is one of the downside of knowing all the weapon plans. I'm not a big fan of the Gauss pistol. I find it kind of buggy in VATS, and the range is really bad. Stalkers, don't care for Stalkers. It's unpredictable when it works, and that makes it not very useful. Bash damage, this is not something you want to bash with, and stealth field isn't all that great. So this is a rough start. All right, next up we have anti-armor railway rifle with faster fire rate and bonus critical charge. This is very good. This is actually really, really good. Anti-armor is a good effect. It's one of my favorites. Weapon speed, faster fire rate is great, although these have a really high fire rate anyway. So yeah, faster fire rate. You're gonna go through ammo really quickly. It only holds 10 rounds, so you will be reloading a lot, but VATS critical charge, yeah, critical hits. Yeah, this is actually really good. Next up, we've got Hunter single action revolver with VATS hit chance and +1 perception. Okay, well, it's enemy specific. Don't care for that. VATS hit chance is really good. Perception, one perception, you're not going to notice one way or the other. The problem with a single action revolver is it does has a pretty long reload, and it's not the highest damage revolver. You can do better with a Western revolver or a 44. You'll actually get more damage out of those, and they reload quicker. So there's not a whole lot of reason to actually use a single action revolver. This is a weapon I'd actually like to see them overhaul. I think if they made this damage significantly higher than everything else, it would actually be worth it to compensate you for that long reload, but pretty much this weapon is not something I want to use. All right, next on the list, we've got a Medic's short laser pistol, VATS hit chance, and reload speed. VATS hit chance, I like that. That's a really good effect. Reload speed, on a laser pistol, they do have kind of a high AP cost, so I'd rather see reduced AP, but reload speed isn't bad. Medics, though, I don't find that. I mean, the use case for that is so narrow. Unless your teammates are very close to you, it just isn't really going to do anything at all. I mean, it'll still heal you no matter what, but for the most part, medics is just too niche for me. So this is not something I want to hold on to. And we've got a troubleshooter's missile launcher with critical damage and faster movement speed while aiming. Missile launchers really aren't my thing. Plus it's enemy specific. I mean, with the missile launcher, you really want to get 2-shot. Critical damage is okay. Faster movement speed while aiming doesn't really go with the VATS effect, but overall this is not something I want to hold on to. Plus it's heavy, so it's probably going to be the first thing in the script machine. And we've got a 2-shot minigun with limb damage and 90% reduced weight. Reduced weight is good. 2-shot, I don't think is all that. I mean, if this was 2-shot explosive, this would actually be really cool. But 2-shot with limb damage, I guess you could use it for crippling. I mean, this would probably, if you paired it with 1-gun army, having 2-shot, and it does have reduced weight. So for someone who's adventurous, this could be useful. For me, I probably wouldn't bother. I do like that we're getting a nice mix of things, though, so let's keep that going. A Ghoul Slayer's pipe pistol, last round, and 50% damage resist while aiming. You really don't need extra damage against ghouls. I just don't care for enemy-specific stuff. Last round, I think, is pretty much a wasted effect. Damage resist while aiming. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, this is just not, it's not worth my time. Next up, we've got a Mutant's Ultrasight Gatling Laser with 25 damage plus 25% damage while aiming, and 250 damage resist while reloading. Okay, well, Mutants is a mid-tier effect. It does give you extra damage, though, so that's actually okay. Ultrasight Gatling Laser, that is the one you want versus the regular Gatling Laser. You'll get a little bit more damage. Damage while aiming, that's actually not bad for something like this. You're not going to use it in VATS, so you're either going to hip fire or you're going to aim it, so you'll get bonus damage there. You're probably going to be wearing power armor when you use this, so extra damage resist while reloading isn't going to do anything at all for you. But still, that's a solid 2 stars, so this is actually pretty good. I personally don't care for spin-up weapons, so it's not something I would use, but this is actually pretty solid. Next up, we've got a Junkie's Pipe Pistol with critical, plus 50% critical damage and faster movement speed while aiming. Yeah, that 3rd star to me is a throwaway effect. Junkies can be okay. The issue with it is addictions give you a downside, whereas if you did something like Aristocrats, you can get the same damage bonus with no downside, which is why I'm not a big fan of Junkies, and I think it should be I think there could be improvements to it. But anyway, critical damage I really like. Movement speed, this is 2 stars. It's not really it's a good 2 stars, but it's not for me. All right, we still have a long way to go, so let's get it started with Suppressor's Crossbow. Plus 50% critical damage and faster movement speed while aiming. These 3rd stars I'm getting are not so great. Critical damage I really like. Suppressors I don't like at all. Crossbows in general just really aren't that great. They're a little underpowered and they're quite buggy. They do miss a lot of shots. So for me, for a crossbow, if I'm going to use it, I want to have VATS hit chance, and I definitely don't want suppressors. So this is trash for me. Next up, we've got a Maddox Combat Shotgun with replenish AP with each kill and +1 perception. Shotguns tend to have a kind of a high AP cost, so replenish AP with each kill is actually decent. +1 perception, not so useful, and medics, not really a great effect like I've talked about before, so we are moving on. And we're moving on to this, a Suppressor's Pepper Shaker with replenish AP with each kill and weapon break slower. Suppressors is a garbage effect. Replenish AP is okay, but you're probably not using this in VAT, so that's gonna be useless. Weapon break slower. It's a heavy gun. I haven't actually used this enough to know how quickly it breaks. I'm guessing not that quickly, but overall this isn't something I would want to use. But we are moving on to what? Another crossbow with critical damage. Okay, vampires, critical damage and movement speed while aiming. Vampires, this is a really slow firing weapon, so vampires is not going to be all that useful. Critical damage I like, movement speed while aiming is a waste, so this is more trash. Next up, we've got Aristocrat's Lever Action Rifle with plus 50% bash damage and weapon breaks slower. This would not be my choice for bashing. There are other guns that you can add mods in that will increase bash damage. This one doesn't have as many, so I wouldn't use it for that. These don't break all that quickly, so that 3rd star is not all that useful. Aristocrats is one of my favorite effects, but this is effectively a 1 star, so I will be moving on. And here we go. Furious Salvaged Assaultron Head, plus 50% bash damage, 90% reduced weight. This has 1 good star, and that is the reduced weight. This is not a fast-firing weapon at all, so Furious is a terrible effect for that 1st star. This is not something you want to bash with, so yeah, this is just a throwaway for sure. Let's see, we've got a Junkie's Gauss pistol, replenish AP with each kill, and faster reload speed. Faster reload speed's good, replenish AP with each kill is solid. Junkies can be solid if that's your build. I mean, this could actually be a good pistol for a Junkies build and someone who doesn't mind the bugginess that comes with this weapon and VATS, but I do mind, and I'm not Junkies, so this will be in the script bin. Let me get something amazing and really interesting that I never knew I wanted right now. That's not it. Zealot's Broadsider, plus 50% damage to Scorch, 50% critical damage, and +1 agility. With a Broadsider, you want 2-shot or nothing. You get the one from, God, the name is just out of my head at the moment, but the one you can get from Nuka World, that's as good as anything you're gonna get here. So this isn't any good, basically. It's enemy specific, and yeah, this is just garbage. All right, so I'm not gonna ask for anything. Maybe if I ask for something terrible, I'll get something good. We'll do reverse psychology. Give me the worst weapon you have. Mutant's Light Machine Gun, replenish AP with each kill and 90% reduce weight. This isn't amazing, it's not terrible either, it's just kind of so-so. Mutants is a mid-tier effect, so we're getting a little bit of a damage boost. You're not gonna use this in VATS, the AP cost is just insanely high, so that 2nd star is not gonna do you any good. But they are pretty heavy, so the 90% reduced weight is actually okay. This is be something that you could use, providing you could feed it. I mean, that's the thing about a light machine gun is they are very hungry, but if you can feed it, this would be a decent starting heavy gun weapon, but it's not something you want to keep long term, I don't think. There are better options out there. But I do like the variety. Last time I was here, I kept getting kind of similar weapons over and over again. So the variety is fun, and we still have a few rolls to go. So here we go. Yeah, this is pretty bad. Stalker's Gatling Plasma. I don't love Gatling Plasmas. They're really good. Don't get me wrong, but Gatling Plasma is really strong. I just don't like spin-up weapons, so it's not something I would use. And Stalkers is terrible. This is not a VATS gun, so you're not going to use this in VATS. So Stalkers will do nothing. AP cost will do nothing. Damage while aiming could be a benefit, but this is basically, you know, the middle star will help you. The other two probably won't, and it's really heavy, so this is going away. Let's see what we get next. Mutant Slayer's Auto Grenade Launcher. Let's see, last round and reload speed. Well, reload speed is good. These have a bit of a, I mean, I don't think they reload super quickly, so the reload speed is good. Last round, I don't think is, I don't know how much these, oh, it holds 12. Last round's not gonna be all that great. It's enemy specific. Plus, we've got the Nuka launcher if you happen to be around when it was on the scoreboard, which is better than this. But overall, this is just a garbage piece. We are down to the final 5. And let's start things off with the Juggernaut's Cryolator with critical damage and 90% reduced weight. Juggernaut's mid-tier effect. Critical damage. This is actually a pretty good... you can actually use this as a stealth weapon. So using it in VATS, I mean, it has kind of a high AP cost, but you can still use it in VATS. I have done that. So critical damage is actually good. And they are fairly heavy, I think. They're, what is that, weight of 1, so that means they weigh 10. So 90% reduced weight is okay. This is definitely not a god roll, but it's okay. This is kind of a so-so roll. I won't be using it, but it's okay. Next up, we have, what? Nocturnal Gatling Laser with limb damage and stealth field. Stealth field on a weapon like this is just pointless. You're not going to be sneaking with this. You're going to be wearing power armor. Limb damage, it can be okay for crippling Nocturnal, but I'm not a fan of getting a bonus damage only some of the time. So I'm not going to hold on to this. So this is my third, I think this is the third video I've done at the Purveyor. So far, no handmaids, no fixers in any of them. So maybe that'll change with the one of the final 3 rolls. Medic's Gauss Rifle. Okay, we've gotten Medics too many times. Weapon speed and weapon break slower. Medics, again, it's not, the use case for that is just too narrow for me. Weapon speed on something like this, it's a charging gun, so I don't think weapon speed is going to do, I don't know that it will actually do anything. Even if it does, it's not what I'd want on a star. I'd either want crit damage or VATS hit chance, something like that. Weapon break slower, these don't break particularly quickly either, so this is overall, this is another throwaway. Down to the final 2. We've got a quad 10mm submachine gun, replenish AP with each kill, and damage resist while reloading. Quad on this could be okay. I mean, it could be. I mean, I actually have one that's a quad. It's actually a perfect roll on a perfect roll. But quad could be okay. Replenish AP with each kill could actually be good because this does have a kind of a stupidly high AP cost considering it is an automatic. But that means the 3rd star I would want reduced AP cost. Pretty much if it doesn't have that, I mean, you could use it for manual aiming, but then if you do that, that 2nd star doesn't do anything. So either way, this is not, it looks interesting at first, but then when you kind of look at everything together, it's not so much. Grand finale. Yeah, we're at the grand finale, and that is the broadsider I was trying to think of that you get from Nuka World. So yeah, we are at the grand finale. This is the very last roll. Stalkers, Black Powder Blunderbuss with bash damage and perception. Probably bash damage is the best part of this. You could probably do okay bashing because it has high damage, but other than that, this is just a throwaway item. So this was our, what, 2nd or 3rd craft, or 3rd pull from the Purveyor, and this was by far, I mean, everything was a throwaway. I mean, it was a lot of trash today, but this is a solid choice. So I'm not one that's really used railway rifles much, so I will give this a go. I think this will be fun to mess around with. I think it'll shred everything, but this is a good roll. Everything else is going to go back into the script machine. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit one of the buttons down below, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Thank you very much.